Welcome back to Tales from the Road with Dr. Jill Windy. I'm Dave Dufour here at RBNN.TV, and we're talking about summer hazards and things that can cause your animal problem, injury, or other kinds of issues during the summertime. And what else do we need to talk about? What's next on our agenda?
Next on the agenda is the original social network. Camping and grilling and
there
hanging
you
out
go.
with everybody,
Hey, yes,
right?
yes, right.
So before there was Facebook.
That's right. Before Facebook, there was beer and grills.
That's right.
There we go.
So, and we always have our pets around, and it's fantastic. The day after Memorial Day, the day after 4th of July, we get all these pets that come in that are ill because somebody snaked them something during the cookout.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So food is one of our guys. Corn cobs, particular favorite for some reason, and they just love to get stuck in the small intestine, and then you got to go in surgically and get them out, and so let's just not go there. So corn cobs, ribs, bones, skewers from the kebabs, all these things can cause issues. At best case scenario, we get what we call dietary indiscretion.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, we're getting something like pancreatitis or foreign body obstruction. Those types of things.
That, right, okay,
so,
all right. And
so,
pancreatitis can just come from something. It's not a physical obstruction, but it can cause
not a physical obstruction. Usually, most of the time, it's just this giant inflammation that happens up in the pancreas.
And somebody just because they just ate something they shouldn't have.
Sometimes, yeah. Usually, a pet that's predisposed to it, and then you got the pet who's on dry kibble for their whole life, and then they get like bratwurst and greasy barbecue briquettes, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and What about like Tabasco sauce and things like that in like hot wings or crazy things like that?
Yeah, I mean, some pets really dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had a person who was having trouble with a dog who was being destructive at home, and their friend said, "We'll just put Tabasco sauce on it because that'll be a deterrent."
Oh yeah.
This is okay, and it was like a buffet. So he really liked it.
So everything was food then.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
what
are the precautions that we take at a picnic or a cookout or barbecue that are going to help animals?
Well, first of all, lots of vigilance. So, if you've got a pet who loves to eat everything or who's really social and happy and up talking to everybody, just maybe lay some ground rules. Hey, please don't feed the dog. Keep the grill cover on. If you've got, if you're not using a gas grill and you're using the briquettes, make sure that those are up and stored away. And when you're done with the grill and you empty them out, make sure that's in a covered container.
Right.
So they can't get into them because that grease from the grill drips down onto those, and the dogs are like,
Yeah, and they could be hot.
Oh,
could
yeah.
be something
could be hot.
burn them.
Could be a big
or
issue.
make them sick.
Yeah. So, keep your plates and cups up off the ground when you're hanging out talking to people because, again, you're just inviting them to come and grab those. If you need to, maybe you keep your pet on a leash by your chair, or you keep them, with their gentle leader on or something, so that way you have a little more control.
And just keep drunk Uncle Harry from throwing him a few ribs, and rib bones and things like that.
Yeah, most of the time we have more problem with the two-leggeds.
If your name is Harry, we aren't talking about you.
So we usually have more problem with the two-leggeds in this situation than the four-leggeds.
Yeah, really the control factor, the people that need to be on a leash are the humans sometimes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But now sometimes other animals do come into the fray, don't they?
They do. And sometimes it'll be just multiple pets because friends are all coming together, or you're at the campground all meeting together.
Right.
And so, you've got somebody does give their pet a treat and they says, "Oh, this half bratwurst is mine, get the heck out of here." So we can get very protective about those things and get into fights. Food and picnics will bring other animals into the area that you weren't counting on. And one of the more common things that we see also are insects that come in a picnic area.
Right, yeah.
So we'll get some biting and stinging insects, so the bees and wasps and those kinds of guys. Yeah. And these can be pretty serious because we can have pets that are allergic to bee stings just like we do people. So, and they'll get this, they can get this anaphylactic type reaction like we see in people.
Right.
We actually have a picture of what that looks like.
Okay.
There she is.
There.
So this is our little dachshund.
For a second, I thought it was my drunk Uncle Harry, but I don't think it is.
So this is a dachshund doing her best impersonation of a Shar-Pei.
That's great. Well, it isn't great. That looks very painful.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable, and you can actually, get some of these where the eyes are swollen shut.
Oh my.
And that's just all really uncomfortable. But we can actually get into some really life-threatening levels of this type of reaction, where all that swelling you see down around her neck actually will start to close in on some airway things. So those type of allergic reactions are super important. So, you know, get the vomiting and diarrhea, the swelling, difficulty breathing, collapse, that kind of stuff. So those are like drop and run things. You need to get out of here and go get help.
Yeah.
In fact, some pets who we know have these type of allergies will actually prescribe an EpiPen for them, just like people carry.
Cool.
Who get anaphylaxis.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good precaution to have, obviously.
Yeah.
We have depending if you're at home or in a campground, you may have less of a problem with this. Although in some campgrounds and camping areas and picnic grounds, raccoons come to visit when you're having a picnic, and if they're used to getting food from people or in the trash or whatever, I've seen it at Brown County State Park. We had it happen where the raccoons just kept on coming. We'd try to they would be scared away, but then they'd come right back up. They were sitting at the table with us practically, and they can become rather aggressive with another animal as well.
They can be aggressive, and they can also bring in some guests of their own into your area that you don't want. Things like distemper and rabies and raccoon roundworms and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
so,
and not to mention the fact that they might bite your animal, or there might be some general
physical
injury
contact.
kind of stuff. Okay. All right. So and if obviously if these things happen, the next stop is the veterinarian, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Not trying to avoid the veterinarian, but avoiding that kind of a visit.
Yeah, come see me for wellness care.
There you go.
Not for anaphylactic reactions.
That's right. All right. Okay, well, we'll be right back with more about summer hazards and summer health and summer things to watch out for your pet as the days get warmer. Come back in just a second here on Tales from the Road. Got a question or a comment for Dr. Jill Windy? Get in touch at tales@rvnn.tv or leave a voicemail at 877-578-RVNN, extension 705. Hey, why not email a photo of you and your pet on the RV trail? We love pictures, and we might just use it in an upcoming episode. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. Today's show is brought to you by Angie's List, where you'll find thousands of unbiased reports and reviews about service companies in your area. Whether you're looking for a roofer, plumber, house cleaner, dentist, or even a doctor, Angie's List members share their experiences with each other so that you can choose the service company that's right for your job. Companies can't pay to be on Angie's List, and the reviews come from people just like you who have had experience with the companies mentioned. To find out more, go to rvnn.tv and click on the Angie's List ad.